Don Ingham, there's not a lot of Sears bulls out there. The stock is sold 45% short. That said, you like the retailer. You got to tell me why.
That's part of the opportunity. I don't like it in the traditional sense of how people think that they're going to in the future doing the exact same thing that they have been in the past. What I do like about Sears is because of their poor financial performance and because of their poor positioning, much earlier than many other retailers, they started pivoting heavily towards e-commerce. And as they pivoted towards e-commerce and realized they had to shrink their physical footprint, they've made big investments in trying to take some of their customers with them as they shrink their footprint. So I think you're going to see in a couple of years a substantially smaller physical footprint, a much larger online footprint, and they're going to use some of their substantial real estate assets to both provide cash to the stock to fund that change and to also provide value to shareholders.
Meanwhile, JCPenney is going back to the future. They're bringing back the catalog. Tell me your view on JCPenney. You think that's a smart move?
I think being a public company, it's tough to make drastic changes. We can see that happen with JCPenney, where they tried to make a change to try and go to where the world was going, or at least to where they thought the world was going. And because it went so poorly at first, they lost their CEO in contrast with what Sears is doing. So JCPenney went back to doing what they're doing, which is not the business it was in the past. So I think they'll do fine for a period of time. I think they'll end up shrinking their stores, but I think unless they invest heavily towards the future, that it's not going to be anywhere near as good of a business as it was in the past.
And then finally, Amazon. Now, they're getting into movies now. They're trying a lot of different things with their Amazon Prime. Is this because they have a lot of other players like Walmart and Target? They're catching up.
Yes, I think Amazon basically made a big land grab. So at the beginning of the past decade, there was a huge amount of open space, and they expanded very, very quickly at the expense of profits, reinvesting everything they had back into the business. And now they're getting to a point where they're large enough that the big guys are starting to notice and invest heavily into online, and they have substantial resources. So Amazon isn't necessarily even the cheapest price on most items anymore, and they're trying to lock you in with other things like Prime. In many instances, Target, Walmart are cheaper on most items than Amazon is these days, so they need to find a place to keep you going back.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching The Street.